Welcome to TheTechCove. Here's Sean.
Don't you just love shows that are network remote broadcasted? Anyway, today we're going to continue our series on Reaper and Bluetooth commands. And we'll also answer the question, nerd or geek? Actually, I'm more of a geek. But first, we'll check out an Atlas app. Thanks to the Living Blind blog. And Dean.
Okay, this is Dean Mills, and here today I have Sean.
Hello.
And we're on the Living Blind blog, and today I'm going to review the Talking Atlas app, which is for the iPad. Now, Sean is here because what I really wanted to do was get someone else's view as well as my view into the podcast, so I thought it'd be interesting to... Sean's never seen this app before, have you, Sean?
No, never seen it at all.
So I thought what would be interesting is if I demonstrate the app, then I give my view on it, and then maybe make a bit of a discussion at the end and see what Sean thinks. Now, this app is for education use, I would say. Probably 11-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds. People trying to learn the world. So obviously they're trying to learn the Atlas, like a map. Now, it only works with the iPad. You can't use it with the iPhone, which you'll see in a minute why. Because of the side of it, because obviously the world is quite big. So, here we go. I'm going to open the app. Here we go. Now, it's all self-voicing.
Voiceover off.
So turn voiceover off. It should speak. There we go.
Double tap or press enter to select.
Right. So, double tap or press enter so we go along.
Atlas. Double tap or press enter to select.
Now, this Atlas is obviously an Atlas.
Game. Double tap or press enter to select.
Game. We've got game here. We have
Settings. Double tap
Settings.
or press enter to select.
Now, I actually want Sean's view on this part because there's actually a problem I've noticed straight away. And I think Sean noticed it too. When I'm going through this menu, there is a big hump noise.
Help. Double tap or press enter to select.
And I want to know, Sean, if you think that would actually be distracting somebody. Do you think it should be turned down, or what do you think?
Well, since it's for education purposes, yeah, just a bit. I mean, there should be... To me, it should be like leveled with your volume that you had with the voiceover volume or the system volume.
Yeah, because this isn't using voiceover; it's using the actual inbuilt TTS.
Right.
So what we're going to do first, Sean, and everyone else who's listening to the podcast, we're going to start with the Atlas.
Store. Double tap or press enter to Atlas.
So
double
Atlas.
tap or press enter to select.
So double tap. And the nice bit says double tap or enter. So my guess is if you're using a Bluetooth keyboard, you would use the arrows and press enter to select it. So here goes for the Atlas.
Welcome aboard. Destination World Political.
That's a music box tune.
That's terrible.
Destination arrived. Use up and down button or two finger swipe up and down to explore the modes.
So, now at the minute we're on a screen here. I'm going to explore this screen. So we'll start from the bottom left.
Southern Ocean. South Pacific Ocean.
We have the South Pacific Ocean. We'll go up.
It sounded like it was getting a little off.
North Pacific Ocean. We'll now go to across this way.
North Atlantic Ocean.
Let's try to find a country.
North Atlantic, Spain, in Europe.
Spain in Europe, okay. Now if we go up, if my geography is correct with this, we should find France.
North Atlantic, Spain, Algeria, in Africa, Nigeria.
See,
in
it's
Africa,
very...
Spain, in Europe.
Now, here's another problem with this app, and it's a good app for education, but the map on screen is very, very, very small. Now, Africa obviously is below Spain if you look at the way the world is, but it's very, very, very close to each other. So, like, if I go up, for example...
North Atlantic, France, in Europe.
France, and then North Atlantic Ocean is next to France, that's correct. But there's a very, very fine line of where you move between each one. Now, I'm going to go down here because there are actually different views on this. So we have
History. Double tap or press
History.
enter button or enter to select the mode.
Let's try history.
History mode selected. Touch a location on the map to select, and use left and right button or two fingers swipe left and right to get the historical events. Arctic Ocean.
So I think the Arctic Ocean example, so what it we'll swipe across, we'll use two fingers to go across.
No historical events available.
No historical events of the Arctic Ocean, fair enough.
Russia in Asia.
Okay, that's
We'll use Russia, so let's go across.
1200s BC. The Cimmerians, a Balkan people, settled in the Ukraine. South Atlantic Ocean. Russia in Asia. 1200s BC. 700s BC. The Cimmerians were defeated by the Scythians, an Iranian people.
So it's like a timeline here, so it's got like different facts.
200 BC. The Scythians were conquered by the Samaritans, bringing Greek and Roman influence to the culture.
Now let's go down again with the next one. We've got
Distance calculator.
distance
Double tap or press
calculator.
enter button or enter to select
That
the
from what I
mode.
understand, I won't go into the minute because it's quite lengthy. But it shows you distances between different places.
Go to. Double tap or press enter button
Go
or enter
to,
to
that
select
means
the
you go to a
mode.
different area.
Glossary. Double tap or press
Glossary
enter
is
button or enter
is
to
a
select
list of
the mode.
terms.
Index. Double tap or press
Index.
enter button or enter to select the mode.
Now we're going to do index. I want to show you
Index mode
something.
selected. Use left and right button or two fingers swipe left and right to choose. And double tap or press center button or enter to select world. Continents. Countries.
With countries.
Countries map list selected. Use left and right arrow. India.
We'll use.
North Atlantic Ocean.
That's what we use here.
Afghanistan. Bangladesh. Bhutan. Brunei.
We're going to use.
Cambodia. Central America. China.
We use.
East Timor. Indonesia. Brazil. In South America.
We're going to use Brazil just because Brazil is different.
Indonesia map list selected.
Okay, no, we're not.
Use
We're
left
using
and right
Indonesia.
arrow, or two fingers swipe left
Fair
and right
enough.
to choose.
So now if we move on the screen, it should.
North Atlantic Ocean. South Atlantic Ocean.
Listen, this isn't working as it should be.
Political.
Oh, okay, no, it's got different choices. So it's political,
Physical.
physical. So we'll go with political map.
Political. Welcome aboard. Destination Indonesia Political.
So it loads the map
Destination
in.
arrived. Use
Okay.
up and down button or two fingers swipe up and down to explore the modes.
So what I messed up in there, it was actually my fault. When you select a country, it asks you then to choose a physical map, which I'm not sure what that is in a minute. We'll have a look at that in a bit if we have time. Or you choose a political map, which I think is just going to show the city. So like,
Kilometer straight.
I'm not sure what that place is, but I've never heard of it before, but it exists.
Java Sea.
Java Sea,
Makassar Strait.
Makassar Strait.
Malacca Sea. South Pacific Ocean.
So from what I'm gathering, and I think Sean would agree with me here, I think the political one's showing like things that are around that area. So like the oceans and the landmarks around Indonesia.
yeah. It seems like all these are maybe waterfront places.
Yeah, because if you go on the other side here, you got
Indian Ocean. Cinder Strait. Indian Ocean. Andaman Sea. Kilometer Strait. Jakarta. Indian Ocean.
Jakarta.
Kilometer Strait. Jakarta.
That's the capital of Indonesia. So
Ah,
I don't know why we selected Indonesia. Well, I do because it was the one that selected, but we were meant to select something else. But it decided to have a mind of its own, unfortunately.
I do like the fact that when there's a capital or something different, it has different sound effects.
It does, but I think the sound effects are a bit overbearing. Unfortunately.
Yeah, as far as the water, it seems like it is a bit much.
We'll go back now to the main screen, so I'll quickly show you the settings before we wrap this up. Here we go.
Atlas. Double tap game.
Game.
Double settings.
Settings.
Double tap or press enter to select. Swipe left and right pins. Double
Pins.
tap or press enter to select. Hits off. Hits on.
So you can turn the hints on and off, that's useful to know.
Mode. Double tap or press
Mode,
enter to
what do we
select.
have here?
Assistive mode.
Assistive mode.
Normal. Assistive mode.
Aha! So we have assistive and normal. Maybe that actually was why the game wasn't working. I will try the game in a second, because I'm trying to show everyone how this works.
Music. Double
Music.
tap or press enter to music off. Music on.
Now you can have music on and music off. That would be nice if that had a volume in that music.
Right.
For example, to say,
Right.
okay, this is Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 and off would be better. Because at the minute that noise is too overbearing.
Speech rate. Double
Speech
tap or
rate.
press enter to select.
Let's see what this does.
Speech rate 0.3. Speech rate 0.4.
So you can speed it up.
Dialect. Double tap or press
Dialect,
enter
you
to
can
select.
change the dialect. So you can change it between Australian English, UK English, and US English, and anything else you've got installed.
Privacy policy. Double tap or
That's
press enter to
all
select.
the legal stuff, privacy policy.
Back. Double tap
Let's
or
go
press
back,
enter
and I'm
to
going to
select.
try and run the game again.
Menu screen.
Because I want to
Swipe
see.
left and right with 2 fingers or use left and right button to explore all the options. Atlas. Double tap or press enter to select. Game. Double tap or press enter to
Game.
select. Swipe with 2 fingers left and right or press left. Single. Double tap or press enter to select.
Single player.
Choose the game you want to play. Swipe with 2 fingers. World Wars. Double tap or press enter to select. Welcome to Travel World. Let's begin our journey and explore world. The game consists of 30 rounds. Round 1. Swipe left and right with 2 fingers or use left and right button to get the scores. Player 1. Swipe down with 2 fingers or press spacebar to spin the wheel.
So,
Antarctica. Political. According to Antarctic Treaty, which of the following activity is prohibited in Antarctica? Option A, scientific research. Option B, fishing. Option C, military activity. Option D, everything is allowed. Swipe left and right with 2 fingers or press left and right button to explore the options.
so we go.
Option A, scientific research. Option B, fishing. Double option C, military activity. Double
Double
tap
tap.
or press enter to select.
So double tap.
Right answer.
So that's how the game
Player 1, you have
works.
scored 10 points. Your total score is 10. Player 2, swipe down with 2 fingers or press spacebar to spin the wheel.
That's cool.
So the what you've got to remember if you're a voiceover user, now it doesn't make this clear unfortunately, and Sean might agree with me here, you have to turn the assistive options on if
Right.
you're using voiceover. Now it would be
Right.
nice if that app would hint you and say, if you're using voiceover, please turn the assistive options on, because you saw then how that game didn't quite work.
Exactly.
Same with the maps too, and I do really want to try this with a keyboard because I think the experience might be a bit different. I think you might be a bit more precise with moving around the world.
Is it only for the iPad, or is it also a Mac app download?
It's only for the iPad. Now, I think a Mac one could work because the Mac would actually... I think that would actually be really good for it because... But the thing is, the Mac doesn't really have a big screen to touch on. It's only got the touchpad.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this thing. It's a good app, but I think that there is some improvements there, and I want to see what... First of all, I want to see what you think, and then I'll put my view into this. Like, what you think for an education tool this could be useful for, and where you think it could be improved.
I think getting to know the world and what countries are around, yeah, it definitely is a good app. The sound effects can be a little overbearing. For example, the whole water in areas where there is water around, or if you're in the ocean, you can hear the speech well, but it's almost just too much with the sound effects of the water.
It is, and sometimes it blocks out the speech a bit too much, I feel. And I think the developers, they've made a really good start on it, but they need to... I think they need to make these couple of changes just to make it a bit easier, and like I said, inform people that you do need to turn this assistive mode on because that mode is really helpful.
Yeah, and they should make a version for the iPhone because, I mean, it seems like people have iPhones more. And, yeah, in schools, I'm sure they use iPads because as the school for the blind here is all decked out with iPads and things like that. And that would definitely be good for, later in elementary, junior high school kids.
So,
And even me, I'd be curious. I definitely want to try that out.
I also want to know what you think of the price of the app as well. The app is priced in the UK at £22.99, and in the US it's priced at $32. I will double check that though, and if I'm wrong, I will put it in the notes at the bottom. If I'm wrong,
No,
about
that
this.
sounds about right. But yeah, still check. That's for an atlas, an accurate atlas. Yeah, that sounds like a good and fair price, especially since it verbalizes everything. I mean, it's better than trying to order a braille map and feeling your way around the world.
That is true.
I saw one that was that was in at the where was it? The
I
Braille.
so apologize for that.
Yeah, it was on a huge wall.
Right.
And I saw one at the Braille Institute, and the map of the world is huge. And just to have that as an app in your pocket, so to speak, with the iPad, that's great.
It is, and I think, especially with education, especially when you're trying to teach students the first part of the world, and the nice thing about this game, I will actually go back to this game again, because this game, I think, would be really good for teams, because the questions are quite in depth. For example, I'm going to spin this wheel one more time to show you another question.
Yeah, it helps you get to know the world.
There we go.
Africa. Physical. Though a former French colony and is on Atlantic coast, which country imports 1/3 of its needs from China? Option A, Algeria. Option B, Benin. Option C, South Africa. Option D, Libya. I think the answer is Libya. Right answer. Well done. Player 2, you have scored 10 points. Your total score is 10. Round 2. Player 1, swipe down with 2 fingers or press spacebar to spin the wheel.
So the nice thing is you can actually go through the... you can get people in the class to get involved. And it also shows on the screen, from what I've learned, so the texture... So you can include sighted people and blind people in the same app. Now that to me is really important, because on the screen, from what I've been told when I ask somebody, all this text comes up on the screen.
Now that's cool. So you can play with the sighted counterpart.
Yes, you can definitely play with a sighted person. And
Sweet.
obviously a teacher, for example, could show you, for example, where something was in the world as well.
Yeah.
They could, for example, guide you to where that was on the screen as well.
Well, yeah, it sounds like they definitely thought it out well enough to be for educational purposes.
It does. But that was just a quick overview of the app. I didn't want to make it too detailed, just because I know people, well, they just want an idea of the app. I don't think people need to see all the features, and I may write up a text summary of the app and see what and like a summary of what I think as well. I'm not sure yet though. But I thought that would just be a quick overview for the Living Blind blog of the Talking Atlas app.
Cool.
And I'll be back again soon. Bye.
This is Scott Davert, welcoming you to part 3 of my mini-series on using a Bluetooth keyboard with iOS devices and VoiceOver. In part 1, we talked about general things like navigating around the screen, some concepts about VoiceOver keys and QuickNav. In part 2, we went over text editing with the keyboard, and now in part 3, I'm going to talk about web browsing using Safari on iOS. In some ways, using the keyboard and touchscreen are about comparable in terms of how productive you can be, but there are certainly shortcuts to navigating around a page with the Bluetooth keyboard, and that is what we're going to talk about today. I am running iOS 9.2.1 with my iPhone 6S, and this time around I'm using my Logitech K380 keyboard, but for this particular demonstration it really doesn't matter what keyboard you use, I don't think, for the most part. I have Safari in focus on my home screen with VoiceOver. I'm going to go ahead and activate it, and we will get started.
Safari. Sign in. Link.
When you launch Safari, of course, you are brought to where you last were. This time around, I was last completing a survey on SurveyMonkey. Yes, I have done things like that on my iDevice without much difficulty. So that is where I am placed. It remembers where I was last and brings me back there. It is a bit different in the sense that you don't have a home page per se, though you can make a home page part of your home screen. But unlike what you have with Firefox and Internet Explorer on Windows, where you have a set home page, iOS remembers where you last were and puts you there. For those who are familiar with the Mac, you're going to be right at home with Safari and a Bluetooth keyboard, because many of the commands that you're used to on the Mac are also present on iOS and Safari. The first command I'm going to talk about will take you to the address bar. It's true that you can go to the upper left corner of the screen and activate it that way, or you can simply type command with the letter L, just like you can on a Mac, and that will launch you into the address bar as well. I'll go ahead and do that now.
Address. Text field.
I hit Control to shut it up, and I'm going to go to appleviz.com.
Quick nav off. W. Uns. Appleviz. Misspelled.
I'll go ahead and press Enter.
Reader available. Skip to main content. In page link.
And we are now on the AppleViz homepage. There are a lot of different things you can do with the Bluetooth keyboard and Safari. For example, if I wanted to navigate to the first heading level 2 on a page, I can press the number 2.
Main menu. Heading level 2. Navigation. Landmark.
I can hit 2 again.
Getting started with your first Mac, iOS device or Apple Watch. Heading level 2. Region. Landmark.
And I can also hit Shift with F2 to go to the previous heading level 2.
Main menu. Heading level 2. Navigation. Landmark.
If you just want to go to the next heading, you can press the letter H.
Welcome to AppleViz. Heading level 1. Main. Landmark.
Well, thank you. I've never been here before, I don't think. Interesting. So those commands are the same. Of course, you have to have first letter quick nav enabled to do this. And if you're finding that these commands are not working, you may need to press VO and Q to toggle first letter quick nav on or off. I'll go ahead and do that.
Single letter quick nav off. Quick nav on.
Now if I hit H, nothing happens. So I will press it again.
Single letter quick nav on. Quick nav on.
There are a lot of other commands you can do that are very handy in Safari and web browsing, especially when you have complicated web pages that have a lot of links and things on them. You can jump directly to the next link with the letter L.
Accessory reviews. Link. End. Navigation.
I'll hit L again.
Guides. Link.
Just like before, I can hit Control up arrow.
Reader. Button.
And that takes me to the top of the page, which in this case is the reader. That's one way to get to it. There are a lot of other commands. I'll just go ahead and get back into the page here by hitting the right arrow a couple times.
Address. Reload. Skip to main content. In page link.
And let's say, for example, I would like to find the guide section. I could do that by pressing VO with the letter F.
Enter search text.
Type guide, press enter.
Guides. Link.
And it jumps me right to the guides link. So that is a very handy feature. But let's say I wanted to search the website. I would, of course, want to jump to the first text field. I can do that directly with the letter R. Why the letter R? I have no idea. It makes no sense to me either. I didn't design it. I just use it. And it will not find any because I'm underneath where the search field is. So I need to press Shift and the letter R to go backwards.
Search this site. Text field.
Now let's say I wish to search the site for keyboards. Because, I mean, this is an Apple Viz podcast on keyboards, so it would make sense that you might want to look at some information about keyboards. I'll go ahead and press the up and down arrow.
Insertion point at end. Quick nav off.
Quick nav is off, which of course is what we need if we want to type, so I'll type in keyboards. And I want to specify it as being in the accessories category. This is actually going to help with some of the search results, not entirely, but I do want to have several results here that we are going to need to sort through for this demonstration. I've typed keyboards. Now I'm going to press the tab key.
Filter. Any greater than. Picker item. Adjustable.
You may recognize that, the filter for choosing where you want to search. JAWS treats it as what is called a combo box. Here on VoiceOver land, we call them picker items. I'm going to press my up arrow one time, which is the equivalent to flicking up once on the touchscreen.
Accessory reviews.
That's what I want, is accessory reviews. Now, because I have started working with this picker item, I have to go back and find the Done button. I'll flick to the left or press my left arrow.
Done. Button.
And now press up and down.
Done. Last update or comment 6 minutes, 50 seconds ago.
You'll see there that you're landed in a random point on the screen. That is normal. Your selection was made when you hit the Done button, but you're then just put on some random spot on the web page. That's not an AppleViz bug. That's just how VoiceOver handles Safari for some reason. I know from experience on the website that I am well underneath where I want to be. I want to find the Apply Filters button, and I can jump directly to buttons with the letter B, just like you can with the command on JAWS or on NVDA or, of course, VoiceOver for Mac. But we're going upward, so what do I have to push with the B? I need to press the Shift key.
Reset. Button.
One more time.
Apply filter. Button.
Now I will activate this button.
Apply filter. Apply filter. Button.
Hopefully we have been landed on the accessories page with the search results. I can find out by pressing the number 3 because first letter QuickNav is on.
Life-proof case for iPhone 6. Heading level 3. Link.
VoiceOver didn't really indicate that it had done this, but I just know from past experience that it would have. And some of you are probably out there going, wait a minute, that's the life-proof case. What the heck does that have to do with a keyboard? The answer is it doesn't. Because I searched for a general term like keyboards, it's going to pull up anything that has the word keyboards in it. The next one might even be something else that's not related. I don't know. Let's see. I'll hit 3 again.
Braille Edge 40. Heading level 3. Link.
That's not a Bluetooth keyboard, but it does have a keyboard on it, so it's kind of relevant. We could have tried to specify further by putting it in quotes and typing in Bluetooth keyboard, for example. But let's keep going here and find a review.
Apple Wireless Magic Keyboard. Heading level 3.
Aha.
Link.
I think we may have found a winner. I'm going to go ahead and activate this link with up and down arrow.
Apple Wireless Reader available. Skip to main content. In page link.
So it loaded the page and it said reader available, which is handy, and I'll show you why it's handy here in a minute. There are multiple ways that you could jump to the content on this page. You could try and find it by heading level. You could try to find static text. You can do that with the letter S. That will jump you to the first text that has nothing on it. I'll do that.
Search this site. Search. Landmark.
That didn't quite get us where we wanted either. Now you heard there it said reader available. You could hit Control up arrow to get to the top of the screen and find it that way. Or from anywhere on the page, you could hit Command, Shift, and the letter R. I'll do that.
Reader available. Skip to main content. In page link.
And because I have QuickNav turned on, it just refreshed the page. If I want to actually launch the reader, I have to turn QuickNav off. And the reason for that is because this is not a specific command to VoiceOver. I know a lot of low vision users that actually use Command Shift R to launch the reader for that reason.
QuickNav off.
Because, as you'll see here,
Apple Wireless Magic Keyboard. Heading level 1.
all we have on the screen, I'll turn QuickNav back on.
QuickNav on. This is a review of Apple's wireless Magic Keyboard. Let me start off by saying that this keyboard is probably one of the less expensive Apple products out there. It's $99, including tax.
That's true. I could hit, of course, VO with the letter B to begin reading.
Apple Wireless Magic Keyboard. This is a review of Apple's wireless Magic Keyboard. Let me start off by saying that this keyboard is probably one of the less expensive Apple products out there.
I'll hit Control to stop it. And pretty much all that's on this screen is the article. There's not a whole lot of other stuff. You don't have the entire website. Now we're just reading the article. I'll go back here to the left with the left arrow.
Let me start. This is a review of Apple's Apple Wireless Magic Keyboard. Reader appearance options. Button.
So if you're a low vision user and you would like to change the appearance, you could come in here and do that.
Address. applevis.com. Selected. Reader. Button.
That is the upper left corner of the screen. The site is not here itself. It's only the article content. I find that to be a very helpful and handy feature in Safari. And it's not only AppleVis that you can use it on. I'm sure if you've used Safari on other pages, you've heard things load and say reader available. And it works really well on a lot of different sites. A lot of the mainstream sites also use the reader and strip out a lot of the stuff so you can quickly get to what you're looking for. Sometimes you still get ads, but for the most part, no, you don't. You'll just have what you're looking for. To get out of the reader, I can
Quick nav off.
turn Quick Nav off and hit Command-Shift-R again.
Skip to main content. In-page link.
Now we're back on the AppleVis website. Let's say, for example, I want to look at something else on the website and reply to that. I'm currently signed in, so I don't have to do that here on the podcast, but that, of course, is accessible. But let's say there's a guide that I want to reply to. I want to help the person who contributed the guide to add a little information to it. There are a lot of different ways I could go about it. I could go back into the search field and do a search for what I'm looking for, but for the purposes of demoing some of these other commands with Safari, I'm going to go about it a different way. I'm going to go to the top of the page and then go to the right a couple of times to make sure that I'm in the web content. But before I do that, I have to turn Quick Nav back on.
Quick nav on. Reader. Button.
We don't want the reader. We just came from there. I'm going to hit my right arrow a couple times.
Address. Reload. Skip to main content. In-page link.
We're now on the website, and it is important to make sure you're on the website when you carry out these commands. If you try to carry them out and you're in the address bar, they won't work. I'll show you that. I'll go back into the address bar.
Reload. Address. atlis.com.
I just hit H and nothing happened. I'll go back into the content.
Skip to main content.
And if I want to find guides, there are a lot of different ways I could do it, again, but the way I'm doing it this time is I'm going to use the find function in VoiceOver. We covered that in greater detail in part 1.
Enter search text.
Type in guides.
Guides. Link.
Press enter. We landed right on the guides link, so I can activate that. Now, if there was another occurrence of the word guides on the page, and I needed to go down a little further, for example, for some reason, say this was an AppleVis, I could hit G once I had entered that search text, and it would enter automatically that into the find function and look for it. But this is the only occurrence on this page. I'll go ahead and activate this link.
Guides. Skip to main content. In-page link.
When you are looking at the guides, if you're not really sure which heading level to look for, you can press H to jump from heading to heading, of course. But since I know I need to go to heading level 2, I'll just start pressing 2.
Main menu. Heading level 2. You are here. A quicker way to load the desktop version of a website in Safari. Heading level 2. Link.
That is not the guide we're looking for. I'll go to the next one.
The quickest way to unlock your iTavis. Heading level 2.
This is
Link.
This is the guide I'm looking for.
The quickest reader available. Skip to main content. In-page link.
And again, I could hit Command-Shift-R to bring up the article. I'll go ahead and do that, actually, just to reiterate how cool that feature is.
Quick nav off.
Yep, that's right. Got to turn Quick Nav off first.
The quickest way to unlock your iTavis. Heading level 1.
I'll hit VOB.
The quickest way to unlock your iTavis. I heard about this a few years ago, but this gesture is not very well known, so I thought I would share it here. This quick guide will show you how you can unlock your device without hitting the unlock button. Here is how to unlock your device. 1. Make sure your device is on the lock screen with the time, date, unlock button and camera button displayed. 2. Swipe right with 3 fingers. 3. If you have a passcode or Touch ID, you will need to perform that. If not, your device is unlocked. There are also Braille display and Bluetooth keyboard equivalents of this gesture. I believe a similar gesture is available on Android devices. Back button. Forward. Dimmed. button, share, button, show bookmarks, button, pages, button.
So that is the entire page. I want to actually add to that. I'm going to reply to it. The first thing I need to do, of course, is get out of the reader, Command-Shift-R, with QuickNav turned off.
Skip to main content, in page link.
So there are a few ways that I could do this. I could do a find for reply, but since I'm already logged in, I don't need to do that. I can actually look for the text field I want, and I can move around to different text fields, as I said prior, with the letter R. Now, some of you are saying, well, yeah, that's kind of redundant. You already told us that, and that's true. Redundancy never hurts. However, if I wanted to go to the next form control, meaning anything that requires input, whether it's a button, a checkbox, or any other element, I could press the letter C. Again, you have to have QuickNav turned on. I can't emphasize that enough because it's frustrated me more times than I care to admit.
QuickNav on.
I'll hit C.
Search this site. Text field.
I'll hit C again.
Search. Button. End. Search.
I'm not going to sit here and go through each and every button. I'm actually just going to go to the text field, so I'm going to hit R again. I just wanted to show you yet another QuickNav command that you have.
Subject. Text field.
This is what I want to type in, so I am going to press the up and down arrow keys.
Insertion point at end. QuickNav off. Unlocking the atlis with a Bluetooth.
And I typed keyboard. Now that I've entered the subject, I'll hit tab. And you heard there it made the noise, but unfortunately it did not give me any verbal feedback. I'm hitting my right and left arrow, and this means that the text field is empty, so I'm sure that I'm actually on that text field that allows me to enter the message. So I'll go ahead and type it.
2. Unlock your atlis. Use a Bluetooth keyboard. Assuming the keyboard is already connected to your atlis.
And I hit backspace there to edit that out because I did a capital I instead of a lowercase one.
U A can O press any key. Cap I typically use the right arrow since it is very easy to locate. Again, you will still need to enter your passcode or use Touch ID if you have either set up.
That is what I want to say. Now, you might remember we did text editing in the last podcast, and all these things apply. So if I wanted to select all...
To unlock your atlis using a Bluetooth keyboard, assuming the keyboard is already connected to your atlis.
I'm not going to make it go through everything I wrote, but I hit Command A and it selected all, and I can, of course, copy it to the clipboard or paste it or do any of those things that I want to do. As long as QuickNav is turned off, I can also edit whatever it is I want.
To unlock your atlis using a Bluetooth keyboard, assuming the keyboard is already connected to your atlis, you can press any key. I typically use the right arrow, since it's very easy to locate. Again, you will still need to enter your passcode or use Touch ID if you have either set up. Unselected.
And I hit up arrow and that unselected it.
Tango, Oscar, Space, Uniform, November, Lima, Oscar, Charlie, Kilo.
And I'm just using my right arrow, and I can review here by character, and I can use all the other commands that we went over last time. But I'm happy with this posting, so I'm going to turn QuickNav back on.
QuickNav on. Text format. Allowed HTML tags. Twitter style app. Twitter style app. HTTPS.
I don't really want to go through the rest of that, do you? Let's just hit B for button. That might be faster.
Save. Button.
I'll hit my up and down arrow keys.
Save. Dimmed. Reader available. Skip to main content. In page link.
I hit Control to make it be quiet, and now I have made a post to the AppleVis website using my iDevice and a Bluetooth keyboard. It's also worth noting before we wrap up this podcast that while you can use the rotor with the keyboard and go to characters, words, lines, links, all that stuff, whether you have these things in your rotor or not, for example, I don't have links in mine, but you heard earlier when I hit the letter L that I was able to jump to a link. You can much more quickly navigate around a screen with these quick nav commands. That's why they're called quick nav after all. And get to whatever it is that you want to do. And you don't have to cycle through the rotor all the time. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all of the feedback, those of you who have sent it in. If you have a comment or question, you can feel free to drop me an email. My email address is scottdavert@gmail.com. That's SCOTTDAVERT@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter. My Twitter username is Scott Davert. That's all one word. Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you on part 4 to go over the Mail app.
This is a love song. I try not to be dramatic unless I have to, but I was at the Apple store picking out a MacBook, and on my way out, like, thanks for stopping by, and you walked in and you really caught my iPod, and I'm gonna put you on my playlist. I don't know what your name is, but you're going in my favorites. I got you in my eyesight, I hope you're here, cause I'ma turn the volume up and speak into your earbuds. I like your interface, it ain't a big deal. You got my heart spinning right around like a click wheel, and I was thinking we can shuffle through the interwebs and find the time for iMovies playing at the Cineplex. And girl, you know you made that Final Cut, and even MacBook Air ain't light enough to outweigh my heart, which is beating so rapid that I'm gonna have to track it with an iPod app. And I fell in love at the Apple Store. I never felt like that before. And I fell in love at the Apple Store. And I think I may come back for more. And yes, I'm aware that baby iMac, and baby if you buy that, maybe we can iChat. And I don't mean to be aggressive or a sleaze, and I don't mean to Mac, I'm just not PC. I know how to treat you, this ain't a reboot. I'll never find a need to Control-Alt-Delete you. I see no reason to mess with these slobs, cause they're like Bill Gates, and I'm Steve Jobs. I know you're waiting on me to discover that you need a man who will let you meet his motherboard. Well, baby, it's fine, cause I'm connecting broadband and this could really happen quick time. So let's find your network and go wireless. And if you'd like to try this, then maybe we can iTouch and put your picture as my desktop backdrop if you let me take my hard drive and put it in your laptop. I fell in love at the Apple Store. I never felt like that before. And I fell in love at the Apple Store. And I think I may come back for more. I fell in love at the Apple Store. I never felt like that before. And I fell in love at the Apple Store. And I think I may come back for more.
Hello and welcome to part 4 of the Reaper podcast on Windows. Yeah, this time we're going to record some basic guitars and drums and throw some bass on it. We're going to use MIDI drums with something called Superior Drummer, which I picked up. It's been actually a few years now I've been using it. And then we're going to stick some guitars on it, electric guitar with some amp simulating plugins, and then we're going to throw a bass on it. And then, maybe at the end I'll throw like a limiter on it, show you some basic mixing and whatnot, go through some presets. We will try and create some good guitar tones and whatnot, so that'll all be part of this episode. Let's get going. As you can hear, I have my drum track loaded up right now. I have it armed. I'm just tapping keys on the M Audio key station here. Yeah, so we're just going to lay down something heavy, something easy, something short, and I'll show you right now how I got that to work. So you hit F7 to arm and unarm, of course, and then you hit F8 to go through your monitoring statuses. So normal is what it says, always monitor.
Unarmed. Armed. Not
and it'll do that when you're recording or sitting here, and then when you're playing it, it won't monitor. And then off,
Record
of course.
monitor off. Normal.
And so, yeah, just toggle through those options, and we're going to leave it on normal for the time being. All right, so why don't I just load something up and play it. Turn on my metronome here.
Play. Stop.
And we're going to record something with the R key, of course. So why don't we just do that now? If you listen to part 3, I remember I talked about MIDI over dub. And essentially that allows me to do multiple takes on one single track, multiple segments at once. Just basically have it recording and then stop it and then add something on top of it. But I'm still recording on the same track in the same MIDI file. All right, so let me just double check here with the right-click menu.
Context menu. Remove selection R. Samp 2-1 drum. Context menu. Record. MIDI over dub / replace. Check sub menu R.
And then let's check my input.
Input. Stereo input. MIDI check sub menu I. Key station. All channels checked. Sample CBT modified Reaper V5.
All right. We're ready to rock and roll. So without further ado, because I don't like ado, let's roll.
Record.
Now we're going to go through this and make it a little bit less choppy, less human sounding, I guess, or too human sounding, too sloppy sounding. Make those triple kicks sound a little bit cleaner, a little more evenly distributed, whatever. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to open the quantize dialog. The way we get there is by hitting context menu.
One drum untitled context menu. Source group take item process stretch open items and open and MIDI take drum untitled MIDI item dialog.
We want open in editor. Now I can arrow through this.
A sharp 1, C230, a sharp 1 fifth, a sharp 1 B, D sharp, a sharp, a sharp, a sharp, a sharp, a sharp, a sharp 1, a sharp 1.
Okay, up arrow through that. Now I can hit Q to quantize.
Quantize events dialog strength, %2%, settings, combo box manual collapsed.
Manual.
Bypass checkbox not checked. Quantize, combo box all notes collapsed. Combo box position and note end collapsed.
You just, for this kind of a basic stuff, you're going to want to just do all notes and everything.
Edit, selected 80.
This is your quantizing strength, okay? So we're going to do 80. We don't want it so tight that everything is crushed onto the grid exactly, but we do want to take out some of that sloppy note, kind of inaccuracy there.
Grid, combo box collapsed, edit, selected 1/32.
And
1/16.
We want 132.
1/32.
You just up arrow through that. And of course, you can change it to whatever, 1/6, but seeing as this is an 8/8 project.
Combo box straight
collapse.
collapsed.
Do straight, dotted, triplet, swing, whatever.
Allow notes to grouping. Move left checkbox, move right checkbox checked. Shrink checkbox checked. Grow checkbox checked. Only quantize range 0% equals on grid. 50% equals
so 0 is on grid, and 100 is something else. We don't need to do anything from here. We just hit enter.
MIDI take. Drum untitled sample. Play.
So that's a lot better than... Occasionally you will get some weird stuff that happens, like a cymbal won't be exactly where you want it to be, and or a kick or a snare or whatever, and that's just that's just the way it goes, man. You gotta redo the take or move the MIDI events around, which I can actually do here. The same command that you use to nudge an item left or right on the track timeline, which is numpad 4 and numpad 6. So now we can move on to guitars. We are back, and I have my guitar plugged in. I have a very basic chain right now. I just have a tube screamer going into my interface, my guitar going into a tube screamer going into my interface, going into the computer. And this is the ESP Viper. Got some nice big boomer strings on here. So let's find some sims that sound good for this particular this file.
Play. Stop.
That's what we're working with. And why don't we just find something that sounds good? So I'm going to go look for something called Recabinet. Actually, first, I'm going to find something called Thermionic. And I'm going to find the Psycho C.
Scanning DirectX FX. Dialog filter. Add FX to track 4 guitar 1 dialog filter. Therm.
So how I did that was I hit F to bring up the effects dialog. This isn't Asara's effects parameters dialog. This is effects chain effects dialog kind of thing. The default Reaper dialog. And then I hit insert. So I tapped the NVDA key twice quickly. Now we're able to add another effect. And then I typed in therm because then I'm looking for Thermionic.
Top list 1. Tree view. All plugins expanded 1 of 3 levels. List combo box collapsed. Edit. Selected term. THERMN. List 1 list. VST Thermionic Basmanch Kazak LLC 1 of 20. VST Thermionic Vocal 30 T. VST Thermionic Super 1690. VST Thermionic Solid 1. VST Thermionic Serpent Kazak LLC. VST.
You know what? Actually, let's use the Solid. That's a really good one. I was going to use Psycho C, which is kind of an EVH 5150 clone type of sound, but I want the Soldano 100 instead. It's a little bit grittier and a little rougher.
FX track 4 guitar 1.
And let's just see what we have. And, of course, everything is very bland right now. What we have to do here is, well, first let's get a cabinet.
Add effects to track 4 guitar 1 dialog.
So we're going to look for something called Recabinet. So I'll put in Recab, R-E-C-A-B.
List 1 list.
And Shift-Tab over.
VST Recabinet Kazak LLC 1 of 1.
There it is.
FX track 4 guitar 1 dialog.
And now we can go through and let's escape out of that. And then let's hit
3 of 4 guitar 1 arm 0 items.
Shift-P.
Bar 1 beat 1 0%. Context menu. VST Recabinet Kaz VST Thermionic Solid 100 Kazak LLCV. FX parameters dialog. Parameter combo box M output 1 collapsed.
So what I want here.
M input 2. M wet drive 3. M force mono 4. M preset loaded 5. M preset modded 6. Amp gain 7.
I'm going to crank up amp gain quite a bit.
Value slider 0.11. Num lock on. Num lock 0.41. 0.43.
That should be fine.
Parameter filter edit. Blank parameter combo amp gain 28. Amp base 9. Amp mid 10. Amp base 9. Value slider 0.50. Num lock on. Num 0.74.
Peg the bass.
Parameter combo box amp base 9. Amp mid 10. Value slider 0.5. 0.48.
Be stereotypical. Cut the mids out here a little bit.
0.22. Parameter combo box amp mid to amp high 11. Value slider 0.66.
Boost the highs.
Parameter combo.
Just shift tabbing up and down arrow or page up and down.
Amp depth 12.
Amp depth is kind of your resonance control. Let's just leave that alone.
Amp presence 13. Value slider 0.50. Num lock on. Num 0.70.
Let's crank that up. I keep hitting my damn num lock because this is the new keyboard.
Parameter combo amp saturation 14.
And we'll leave saturation alone.
Amp bright 15. Amp fat 16. Amp boost 17. Amp channel 18.
Now this is the one I want to change to
value slider 0.00.
Lead
1.00.
which is 1.00.
Parameter combo.
Some of these will have values. Some plugins will have values. Thermionic is not nice enough to do that.
Oh, filter edit.
I don't know why.
Parameter combo amp presence on 90. Amp depth on trim on 21. Power on amp trim quality. Check band 1 quality. Value slider 0.80.
For this demo, I'm going to turn the quality all the way down.
0.00.
Because I want to have my CPU saved a little bit.
Parameter combo box check band 125.
Here is an EQ. It's an external graphic EQ.
Check band 220. Check on 30.
And of course you can change that as well. It does work with the Asara.
Bypass 31. Wet 32. Samples.
I'm going to whack enter.
Click stop.
And this plugin, for some reason, this plugin you have to toggle play on and off to get it to update your settings. Not all plugins are like that, of course. Let's just jam on this a little bit. It's sounding pretty good to me, but I'm not really happy with it. I'm going to change a few things on this tube screamer pedal, and I will be right back. All right, so that sounds good for the amp. Let's get this cabinet set up here properly. So we're going to go to recabinet.
FX, track 4, guitar 1, edit mode button. Combo box, no preset collapsed. User presets, not on mid jumper or solo.
Let's just do some chugs here. It's a little too fizzy for me.
Multi-mode mix. Multi-mix.
That's also way too much.
Single cap mid. Single cap fiddler.
Too much.
Single cap muzzle.
That sounds pretty nice.
Dual cap solo. Single cap boomy.
That one's probably my favorite.
Single cap mid solo. Dual cap jumpy sneaky sound. Dual cap jumpy sharp mid sneak light. Dual cap jumpy sneaky different. Dual cap jumpy sneaky sound.
Let's keep it here. At this point, I'm actually going to turn thermionic down a little bit because it's a little too much gain.
Context menu. VST. C800 VST. Thermionic solid FX parameters dialog. Parameter. Amp gain 7. Value. Slider 0.43. 0.23. Sample seed. Stop.
That'll be good right there. All right.
Free open folder 2 base. Free open.
Now let me show you something else I did here. I added an EQ on the whole guitar folder.
FX.
Let me just bypass that and do some chugging. So you can tell it's obviously a lot different sounding. I just added some bass, added some highs, got a little bit of more mids.
FX active.
Cut the mids, add some bass and highs. And I think we are ready to record some stuff. So let me put this
4 guitar 1 arm 0.
This guitar track to the test here.
Stop.
So I did that. I like it. This is a very rough cutting here, and we're just going to select. We're going to go to the effects dialog on this track.
FX track 4 guitar 1 dialog.
And we're going to select all with Control A, copy them with Control C.
5 end of folder guitar 20 items.
Go down to
FX
this
track 5 guitar.
Let's just select all, make sure that there's nothing on this.
Unknown.
There isn't. Okay, good. And then let's paste this on here.
VST C800 HV 2.0 C audio 1 of 3.
All right, so you can hear my little effects chain there. And what we're going to do now
4 guitar 1 arm 1 item. Soloed. Unsolo. Unarmed.
is we're going to unarm that track because we don't want to record over it.
5 end of folder guitar 2 Z normal. Not when record monitor off armed.
Let's just make sure we got the track here and then let's record it.
Normal. Bar 9 beat. Bar play. Bar 4. Bar 3. Bar 5. Bar 4. Stop. Play. Stop. Play. FX parameter cut. 4 302 1 drum. Stop. Master 1 2 base 0 3 open folder small closed armed unarmed. 3 closed fold 2 base 0 items. Bar 3. Bar 2. Bar.
Okay, so you can hear that obviously as 2 guitar tracks. Done recording that.
Play. Stop.
And we have a little bit of on the end here, so let's just get rid of that.
Bar 9 beat 5
The way we do that is by going to the last beat. We go to the last measure and
num lock on. Num lock bar 8 beat bar 9. Play. Stop.
And you can hear that. So let's just go to play and then pause right at the end.
Play. Pause.
Right there. Let's escape. Make sure we're not selecting anything else. Shift end.
Set selection end. Contents of time selection removed.
And then nuke it from there and then delete it. And here we go.
Bar 8 bar 7. Play.
Now it ends perfectly instead of having all that hiss and gruntiness. All right.
Bar 6. Bar 1. 1 drum.
Now we're going to add a bass track.
2 bass 0.
Which I'll just do quickly. I have a bass chain. I cheated. So let's just do that real quick.
Soloed. Unsoloed. Armed. Normal. FX track 2. JS digital versatile VST bass grinder off JS 12 band plus VST W1 limiter JS 12 band plus H sat clear. Unarmed. Armed. Not when record monitor off. Bar. Record.
All the recording is done. All right. So now we can just have fun, put effects on this, make it sound a little bit less garage-like. I don't know. Maybe make it sound a little better. But for now, that's basically how you do it. You know, you grab some stuff, you put a little bit of effects on it, and then you record. Now, of course, later on, you can change effects.
3 closed folder guitar 0 items.
Like
3 closed folder open 4 guitar.
I'll change the cabinet sound real quick.
FX track 4.
Let's just
Soloed.
Let's just
Play. FX track 4 guitar 1 dialog 2.3 this. Edit but combo box dual.
Tab over to the cabinet preset and
dual cab chunky sharp mix. Dual mix dual cab solo. Dual mix busy like single cab possible thing. Dual cab mix. Air jug. Fizzle but useful. Another freezer. Stop.
Actually, I like that better. And so you can change. That's the beauty of doing this all digital is for guitars especially and things that are simulating. You're simulating the outboard gear for it. So like a real tube amp. You're simulating a tube amp. You're simulating a cabinet. You're simulating microphones recording that cabinet. All that stuff can be changed later on. And it doesn't matter because the only thing that got recorded on this track is
FX
this.
Stop.
See, so it's just a dry guitar track going right from my interface into the computer.
FX active. Play. Stop.
Yep, so you see, now it sounds awesome. All right, so let's change this on the other track as well.
FX edit remove button. Add button. Remove list 1 list. 5 and FX. Unknown. VST C808 VST recabin. Play. 4 3 small low. Solo. 2 bass. Solo. 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 Metronome.
So another thing to do now that we have a nice little track recorded here, a very short track, but it does get the point across, is to put some effects on it. We don't need to do this, but why don't we put a little bit of a limiter, at least on the master track. I will show you what that can do to the sound. I actually already have a limiter on there. Let's bypass that, and then I'll just keep going through back and forth, bypassing and not, and changing settings with it. And you could basically guess what a limiter does.
Play. FX parameter dialog. Parameter combo box for ceiling release bypass 4. Value slider normal. Bypass. Normal. Parameter threshold. Value slider minus 5.5 dB minus 5.0 dB volt. 0.0 dB volt. Minus 3 minus 0. Minus 2.5. Param ceiling 2. Release 3. Value slider 1.0 mil 1.2. 36 42 mil 500 4432 unsam play. FX parameter. Ceiling 2. Release. Value slider. Parameter threshold. Value slider minus 3 points. Minus 4 points. Minus. Sample. Stop.
Now this is what we call commercial crushing, where it's just too much. Okay? It's just beating the crap out of it. It's brickwalling the sound.
Play. Stop.
You don't really want that sound unless you really want to go for that, but I don't see a reason to.
Muted. Unmuted. FX parameter.
For me, a limiter sounds good.
Ceiling 2. Threshold 1.
I mix quietly as well. I'm not going to go into details here. If people really want me to cover this kind of stuff, this advanced, effects and whatnot, there's a whole slew of things that I would have to spend hours and hours and hours talking about. But if it's really something you guys want to hear about, especially from a metal perspective, remember, I'm basically a guy who produces metal 80% of the time, 80 or 90% of the time. That's what I do. People want me to do metal for them, I'll do it. People want me to look at their projects and stuff, I will. As long as it's rock and metal, I'm basically at home. But I don't do synths and Juno G stuff like that, and roll index TDs or whatever. I don't do the hardware synths, and I don't do a lot of soft synths. I do play with them, but I don't record or compose music with them necessarily that much, because I like, the style of music doesn't really lend itself well to that, unless you're doing like power metal or something. But anyways, I'm rambling. Why don't we show...
Filter, edit, parameter, combo box threshold 1.
Kind of a proper limiter.
Value slider minus 6.9 dB volt.
That's way too hot.
Num lock on. Num minus 5. Minus 4.6 minus 2. Minus 3.3 dB minus 3.7 dB volt minus 3. Minus 4.6 dB volt. Parameter
Another thing too.
Ceiling 2. Release 3.
Is your release.
Value slider 276 milliseconds time.
For this particular track, because it's kind of a hard hitter.
328 milliseconds.
That's way too long.
271 milliseconds time. 36 milliseconds time. Sample.
I mean, you really want it to be just louder.
Play. Stop.
Like I said, I can bypass this, and I'll just show you the volume difference.
Bypass 4. Value, my bypass. Normal, bypass. Normal, bypass. Normal. Sample CPP modified reverb stop.
So you can tell right away that is significantly louder, like 4 or 5 dB at least, with the limiter on, okay? So that is it, essentially, for this episode. Let me show you something really quick here that is useful. When you're done with guitar tracks and stuff...
1 drum, 1 item, 2 free closed folder, guitar 0 items.
When you're done with all your recording, you may want to consolidate your tracks, consolidate all your files, your FLACs, into one file per track instead of having... Like, let's say you're like me and you screw up and you have to record, not this, but something that's complicated, or a full track song, like a full-length song. You end up recording 30 or 40 different times to get the take right and to merge multiple things, and it's annoying. And you don't want all that crap floating around on your hard drive? Well, there's a quick way to fix that. We go to Consolidate in the File menu.
New project, Control plus NN.
The shortcut is X.
Consolidate tracks, dialog tracks. Seconds can cause multiple files per track. HZ if required. Export MIDI as. Consolidation settings grouping. Entire project radio button checked.
All right.
All radio button checked. Ignore silence shorter than checkbox checked. Edit selected 30. Sample rate, combo box collapsed, edit, selected auto. Channels, combo box auto collapsed, resample mode, combo box good 192 PT sync collapsed. Consolidate to, combo box flat collapsed. Reference and .rpp file for export to Reaper only radio button checked. Output grouping output consolidated files to directory. Browse, button, edit, selected C /users /Alex /documents /Reaper media /sample CBT.
And there's our sample CBT folder that I talked about in the last
Update
podcast.
Project with consolidated files checkbox checked.
Yes.
Save new project as checkbox not checked.
We don't need to do that. That allows you to save a consolidated version to a separate project.
Edit. Selected C /users /Alex /documents /Reaper media /sample CBT /sample CBT consolidated.rpp.
You don't need to do that.
Browse button. Save current project before updating project checkbox checked. Process button.
And we're going to hit process.
Red consolidating. Sample CBT.
And this is a shorty, so it went very fast. And now I'll show you.
3 closed folder guitars 2 bass 102 bass consolidated 01 dot flag.
So it's consolidated FLAC. So which means if you have multiple takes strung together like that, you don't have to care because it's just consolidated. Now, how do you get rid of the excess files in the sample CBT folder? Well,
new project.
Alt F and C for the cleanup.
Project directory cleanup dialog. Caution. Files listed here are not used by the current project, but may be used in some other project. 16 of 30 files are not used in C /users /Alex /documents /Reaper Media /sample CBT. List 02 base 160,410 013601 dot flag not selected.
Okay, so now I'm going to select all these.
Cancel but remove select send files to remove selected files but red delete files confirmation dialog remove 16 selected OK. Sample CBT.
Whack enter.
1 2 base 1.
And now we have a nice clean directory again, and we don't have to worry about it.
Stop.
That's a nice little riff. Very boring riff, but heavy. All right, guys. Well, that is it, and hopefully you've enjoyed this particular installment. And stay tuned for next time. We are going to either do vocal processing and mixing, of course, in a metal perspective, which means usually means yelling, screaming, and loud singing. I don't play disco. I'm sorry. And that's it, you know. Of course, we could do that, or we could do advanced effects and project widening and mixing, that kind of basic stuff, like basic, very rudimentary basic levels in mixing and whatnot. It's up to you guys, so email me with the suggestions you want. So if you want vocals, just write me and say vocals. If you want something else, if I know how to do it or I'm interested in doing it at all, then I'll do it. If not, well, you know, who knows? It might happen, just not as soon as you think. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on the web, www.coolblindtech.com, of course. Twitter is @coolblindtech. Email is cbt@coolblindtech.com. And if you want to email me directly, it's alex@coolblindtech.com. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much.
What do you think you're doing, nerd?
Did you just call me a nerd? Geek?
Yeah, nerd.
Yes, I am a nerd, bookworm. I'm studious, from my cerebral cortex to my gluteus. Back in kindergarten, I aced my college entrance exam. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but wait, I am. When I pour my alphabets, I get nothing but straight A's. My retainer and headgear connect to a back brace. I got a pocket protector. I broke my glasses on purpose so I could tape them together. Run back to Reddit and type stuff no one will see. You're a geek, that means you're just a hipster wannabe.
That's right, I'm a geek. I've got brains and a personality. I wear my glasses sincerely and my t-shirts ironically. There's some things you can't learn in a class, or else I'll sign you up for intro to how not to be a social outcast. You're just so early 2013. I was the cool form of uncool before uncool became a thing. I use an app to pair pork with the perfect Bordeaux. Too bad there's no app to neutralize your BO. While you're lost in Second Life letting your fingernails grow long, I'll be syncing up my iPhone, tablet, TV, and your mom.
Sure, grooming's not my thing, but I don't care. I look so good in chainmail that it's not Renaissance Fair.
Doesn't LARP stand for loser and reject party? I'd rather cosplay with hotties than play fake army. I tried Dungeons & Dragons once and I died of boredom, but I'll still kick your Assassin's Creed post-mortem. Mario Party's the only one you get invited to. Your life is like Skyrim, an endless quest of solitude.
Ooh, you beat Angry Birds. You're not a gamer cause you battle your friends with words. You click on cute icons, I execute commands. Do you really need a genius to teach you GarageBand?
I landed the first Rafflecopter and took in orphans when I was 12 cause I'm an early adopter. I can wear Google Glass without looking like a dweeb. Okay, maybe not, but I can yelp with some good footing.
You need 16 gigs of RAM to watch a Steve Jobs doc? I keep an actual RAM in my PC. His name is Spock.
I'm a new console. Your face is birth control. I troll brony sites. You look like an actual troll.
I'm fluent in C++. See, you just suck. Can your iPhone autocorrect your dumb haircut?
Hold on a second. Let me tweet this infographic I made that illustrates the fact you'll never get to procreate.
I just haven't met a woman of a high enough caliber. The only dates you you have her on your Google calendar. You're losing this battle. Your foam sword won't help. In the future, you'll randomly access this memory and crap yourself.
Did I mention I built a dancing robot?
No one gives a Shatner about their skinny jeans. Do you even know what URL means?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Example of the inverse ratio between the size of the mouth and the size of the brain.
Thanks for listening to today's Tech Cove. We hope you've enjoyed today's program. Tune in again next week at the same time for another edition with Sean Hosbury.